I'm Samantha Smith, Executive Director of Historic Bethabara Park in Winston-Salem. I hope you're staying well, staying safe, and staying home if you can during this very difficult time. Park grounds are still open for you to explore as long as you continue to practice safe social distancing. The visitor center is closed, the historic buildings are closed, so we wanted to take this time to bring Bethabara to you. I'm in the community garden on this beautiful day to introduce you to virtual field trips, our new Facebook series that will allow you to experience Bethabara while staying at home. In quick 5-minute videos, we'll be hearing from tour guides, volunteers, park staff, and other friends of the park about a wide range of topics related to Bethabara and its history. I'm going to start us off with the history of Bethabara as a town, as well as its transition to a historic site in the 1960s. Hopefully I can do this in under 5 minutes. In the fall of 1753, 15 Moravian men traveled down the Great Wagon Road from Pennsylvania to North Carolina. They had just purchased a large tract of land, almost 100,000 acres, from Lord Granville the previous year, and when they surveyed the tract, it reminded them of the Wachau, their patron Count Zinzendorf's ancestral home in Saxony, so they named the region Wachovia. On November 17, 1753, the brethren finally arrived in Wachovia after months of travel and cut a road to a small cabin that was built the previous year by a hunter named Hans Wagner. They celebrated their arrival with a love feast, a traditional Moravian religious service of song and a simple shared meal. All 15 men settled in for the night in the small cabin, with rain falling on them from a leaking roof, and all but one lying on a muddy floor. One guy was smart enough to bring a hammock. Over the next few months, they built up a small village around the cabin, cultivated a garden, felled trees, and built a bake oven. Bethabara was never intended to be a permanent settlement. In fact, the name Bethabara means house of passage in Hebrew. However, the French and Indian War delayed the church's master plan of constructing Salem, the permanent settlement they wanted to build in the center of the Wachovia tract. Because of the war, which had worldwide ramifications, Bethabara remained a vibrant trades village for over 40 years. An entire generation grew up knowing Bethabara as their home. Many of our virtual field trips will be about this time period at Bethabara. We will be sharing stories about the great success of Moravian pottery, how the Moravians interacted with their landscape and natural resources, their relationship with other people in the region like the Cherokee, Scots-Irish, and troops at Fort Dobbs, and the stories of Bethabara's enslaved, many of whom converted to the Moravian faith and played a part in the success of the town. When Salem was finally founded in 1766, the church instructed many of Bethabara's families to move themselves and their trades to Salem. In the Bethabara Diary, our primary source you'll learn more about in episode 2, the Moravians shared their sorrow at leaving their homes in Bethabara. Although many families left, taking their houses down, shingle by shingle, log by log, stone by stone, and rebuilding them at Salem, several families stayed, and Bethabara's population continued to grow. In January of 1788, brothers and sisters from Bethania, Salem, and the other surrounding Moravian communities came to Bethabara to help construct a new Gemein house. The Gemein house was the most important structure in town because it was where the community gathered for worship services and town meetings. When the church was consecrated in November of that same year, over 300 people came to Bethabara to join in the celebration. A service was held by Brother Etvine and a love feast was shared. Over time, Bethabara's population dwindled, and the town, now known as Old Town, turned to agriculture. The foundations and cellars of many of the buildings that once stood here were filled with fertile soil, and the Gemein house, which once overlooked a bustling trades village, now overlooked fields and pastures. In the 1960s, Bethabara was excavated by Stan South, Brad Rauschenberg, and a team of archaeologists. Shortly after, Historic Bethabara Park Incorporated, a nonprofit group, was formed to sustain the mission of protecting, preserving, and promoting the history of Bethabara as the birthplace of Winston-Salem. In the 1970s, they partnered with the City of Winston-Salem, a partnership that successfully continues to this day, with a shared mission to preserve this site for future generations to enjoy. Although many of the buildings are now gone, the Gemein house still stands, as does the Potter's House, built in 1782, Brewer's House, built in 1803, and Log House, built in 1834. The French and Indian War fort has been reconstructed, along with the original community and medicinal gardens. This has been an extremely brief history of Bethabara, but there's more to come, and you can always visit our website, historicbethabara.org, for more information. Thanks for watching.